Hello everyone, welcome to Simple Crochet channel. I'm so glad to be with you in this video. In this video we are going to continue our free online course for absolute beginners, and we will apply this cowl or this neck warmer to the stitch that we've learned, the half double crochet. We're going to use two variations of the half double crochet, alternating between them in each row, and I'm going to show you how you do the pattern and how you attach the buttons and make the whole button for them. And of course I'm going to show you how you make these beautiful edges so it's nice and straight in here like this from all sides. How you do the edges, how you do the pattern, and how you make the button holes. But before starting, if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, please do and hit like to the video so I can do more stuff with the channel and find more options. And please watch the video till the end. I'm going to explain other tricks and tips for beginners. So let's start. Now you can use this pattern either wide, you start chaining how wide you want your cowl to be and just build your rows, or you will have the whole length here and just work your stitches or your rows. And finally I'm going to show you how both look like. As we already done before, the material we are going to use are the 3 buttons of your choice, of course. Hook, I'm going to use 5mm hook. You can use any suitable hook that goes with the yarn that you choose. I'm going to use medium size yarn or worsted yarn, but in this brand I'm going to use, I love this yarn, the color of your choice. Any color, any yarn you can use, or you can use chunky yarn, but in this case the stitches and the rows of your work will vary, because you see, when using chunky yarn your stitches works faster and bigger. So if you chain the number of stitches that I recommend in this pattern, you will get bigger cowl or longer cowl. There is always some notes about the pattern to help you how to know the pattern. This pattern is one size only that fits most sizes. This pattern is written in the US terms, so we're going to use the US terms. You can use any kind of yarn and suitable crochet hook as long as you keep the measurement equal, which means if I use medium size yarn, I'm going to start with chaining 30 plus 1, and it will give me 9 inches for foundation chain. But if you start with chunky yarn, you will go up with the crochet hook, so you will use 6 or 7mm hook, so you don't have to chain the 30 chains at the very beginning. You just keep chaining until you reach the 9-inch foundation chain. So it can be 20, 22, it's not necessarily to be 30. So according to the yarn, you have to keep chaining and keep working until you reach the equal measure of this pattern. And of course I'm going to give you these measurements. Now chain 1 at the beginning of every row doesn't count as a stitch, and we have said that with single crochet and half double crochet you just chain 1 at the beginning of every row and mark this stitch in order not to work in it and increase your stitches, and it works for only the height of the stitch. As you can see, this is the abbreviation, but I add something new to this abbreviation. CH means chain, and this is the shape of the chain in the diagram. ST means stitch, SC single crochet, and this is the shape of single crochet in the diagram, the X or the plus. Half double crochet, half double crochet, and this is the shape. Then half double crochet, third loop. I don't have any shape. If anyone have the shape of or the symbol of the half double crochet, please write them in the comment section. Now this pattern is very simple, and it's 2 row repetition only all through the cowl. Now you are going to start with chaining 30 plus 1 for the height, or till you reach 9-inch foundation chain, and it actually depends on your yarn and your crochet hook. Then working the first row, I'm going to work a half double crochet in the second chain, not chain 2, in the second chain from the hook, and across total of 30 stitches. So I will end up with the 30 stitches that I started chaining them in the foundation chain. Now let's start doing this with you. Of course, I'm going to show you how to do this pattern in a small sample so you can practice them. I'm going to start with a slip knot, and again, some people actually still having difficulty of holding the yarn. You can hold your yarn and your hook the way you like. You can use it like this, like the knife, and just hold this end here around your 3 finger. Just put it in front of them. Then use this and wrap it around your finger here. And with this finger and this finger, you just hold the yarn from the other side that's on the hook, so you can get a good grab of your yarn. So I'm going to hold it in the stitch under the hook here. Then I am going to, this is the tip of the crochet hook, I'm going to move it around and just pull it through the loop. This is how you chain. Again, here I am holding with these 2 fingers, I'm holding the stitch, wrapping it and just slipping the yarn in the hole. This is the simplest way to make a chain. So you are going to keep chaining until you reach 30 or 9-inch. And then add 1, chain 1, and mark this stitch here. This is very important. It's the most important part of learning how to crochet, to have straight edges, because sometimes it's frustrating that you work very well but you don't have straight edges. So marking this stitch here will help you to make straight edges and corners. Now again, I do have this stitch that I mark and the next one, so I'm going to work in the next one like this. Yarn over the hook, so I'm going to yarn over, insert it in the stitch and yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. And of course you can return to how to do a half double crochet in the playlist that I'm going to leave it in the description section below. So just to work the first row of half double crochet. Again, I'm going to work it slowly for those who wants to learn. Just I do have 1 loop on the hook, and the yarn is behind my hook like this. I'm going to move the yarn around so the yarn is in front of the hook. So I do have 2 loops. Then I'm going to find the next stitch here and insert it in only 1 loop. Yarn over and pull through. So I end up with 3 loops on the hook. Now yarn over again and pull through the 3 loops together. Again, see, these two fingers helps me a lot with doing my stitches. I just could control all the work with these two fingers. Like, I am holding the stitch, so I want to get, you just hold your yarn like this. I hope this is clear. I'm holding it tightly. So if you move your hook and pull it, you want to get long loop. So all your stitches will be unified. So just hold it like this. Yarn over. Insert your hook in the next stitch. So my finger is holding the rest of the stitches and yarning over. So my fingers move to hold the yarn like this. And then yarn over and pull through all these. See? Now one more time, and be careful of these two fingers. See, I am holding the rest of the yarn. Insert, outside, here, and then my finger moves and yarn over and pull through all. See, this is how you do half double crochet, and you keep working the half double crochet all along the first row. Now I have reached the end of my row and I have done my first row. To start your next row, you are going to chain one, and it's very important. Don't ever forget to chain one at every beginning of each row and turn. Of course, you are going to mark this stitch here. This is the stitch you are going to mark here. This one, I hope this is clear, because you have here the first stitch in the row. Now the pattern says row 2, you are going to chain one and turn, and we have done this. Half double crochet, third loop, half double crochet in the third loop in the first stitch. This is the first stitch, and across the whole row, total of 30 stitches. So here is what I'm going to do. It's actually a very simple pattern. So I am going to yarn over, insert my hook in the third loop. I told you that this is the first stitch here. This is the one with the marker, so it's going, so this is the chain one. I hope this is clear. Here, this is the chain one, this one is the chain one, and this one is the first stitch in the row here. So I have the back loop of the stitch and the front loop of the stitch, and I have the third loop of the stitch here. This is very important. You are going to yarn over and insert your hook in the third loop here, only the third loop. Yarn over and pull through, and just work one half double crochet. Again, you are going to repeat. Yarn over, find the third loop. Now this third loop pops and lean in front of all these and makes the back and the front loop go behind the whole row. So you will work in this loop here like this and this. Now like this, and you can find this front loop, this third loop here. Now this is very important. I have reached the end of my row here, and I have here, this is the chain 1, so I still have 1 stitch to work with, and this is rather a tricky one because I do have this loop here and this loop here. See this one, and beside it this one. So make sure you work in this loop, this one. It looks like this here, and don't forget this loop, and just work your last half double crochet in the 3rd loop, and chain 1, turn your work and mark the chain 1 you did. Now if you look at this, you will find that this half double crochet made this braid here. See, you created this braid. Working in the 3rd loop creates this beautiful braid. Now to work row 3, you are going to repeat row 1 and 2 till you reach the desired length or the 35 inches. So here is how I am going to work from now on. You are going to skip this turning chain or the chain 1 that I marked and work 1/2 double crochet regular one in the 1st stitch here. But bear in mind, you're not going to work in the 3rd loop now. You are going to work in both the front and the back loop like this. You are yarning over. Insert your hook in this hole between the 3rd loop and both loops, the front and the back. Insert, yarn over, pull through, and work 1/2 double crochet. And I'm going to show you why we did this. Yarn over, insert your hook in this hole, and just work 1/2 double crochet. Here you are going to work in this hole like this and insert like this. Now you can ask why I did this. I want to create this shape here. This gives me this shape here. So I will be alternating between the braid and this leaning line here. See, it creates this. Again, I have reached the end. Don't ever forget to work in your last stitch, and the stitch marker shows you that you are left with 1 more stitch. So I am going to work, and be careful not to work in the 3rd loop here. This is the 3rd loop. This row is the 3rd loop. So I'm going to find the post loops here. These are the post loop, and this is the 3rd loop. So I am going to insert my hook in both loops, and it's rather tricky, but you just find your way across them. Like this. And chain 1, turn your work, and whenever you are facing the back, work in the 3rd loop. And whenever you are facing the front, work in both loops. I'm going to work another row with you in the 3rd loop here. Again, I have reached the end. This marker here shows me that I am left with one stitch, and I'm going to work in the third loop. Now see, this will create the braid row and this row here, the braid row and then this row here, and so on and so forth until you reach the size that you want. Now I have reached the size that I want, -1 inch, so I kept doing this pattern until I reach this size. And one thing to know, that while working you will see that your work little bit slanted. It doesn't matter because we're going to fold it. To decide where you're going to make the holes for the buttons, you're going to fold it on the back. Put your work on the back. Take the side where you're going to attach the button and just fold it like this. You should attach your button here. If you want to attach more than one, it depends on the length and the width of your cowl. Again, just attach it between these braids like this. Here, put your button here and leave one space between these two braids and put another one here like this. And again leave one space and put another here like this. See what I have done here? I just attach it between these two braids, left one and two, and put it between these two braids, left one and two, and put it according to the size that I want. I'm going to attach only one button, so I'm going to put it in here. Assumingly, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to attach this button in here with regular thread, of course. Now, after attaching your button, you can just take the other side, this side where you're going to put the buttonhole, and leaning it like this. See? Until it reaches the button, because you're going to work, of course, on here. See, this part is leaning in this part here like this. And then take a stitch marker or a marker or whatever you like, and mark these two stitches where the bottom is going to be. Here, in here, and in here. Only two stitches. And only two stitches only. Whether your button is bigger or this size, it's only going to be two stitches. Then I'm going to work my whole button. Now, make sure when you work for this part, you're going only to work 2 rows, and you will start with the regular half double crochet. So when you start doing your whole button, you should start from the back, turn your work and work the regular double crochet. So I have reached these 2 stitches where I put my marker for the hole. I am going to chain 2 for these 2 stitches. Then continue doing my half double crochet in the third one here. Again, so you're going to leave these 2 stitches and chain 2 to equal these 2 stitches, then continue doing your half double crochet until you reach the end of the row. Whenever you face a stitch marker for the buttonhole, you just leave these 2, you just leave the space for the stitch marker, 2 stitches, and chain 2. Then finish your row. Now I have finished my first row and I'm going to finish with row 2. Chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to work in these stitches 1 half double crochet, third loop. So you're going to work in the third loop. You will find it difficult to work in the third loop here in the third loop here. So what you're going to do, you're going to work in the back bump here, the third loop of the chain. So you just work 1 in here, in only 1 bump here or bump loop, and then work another 1 in here. Just take the back loop of the stitch, then continue doing, and whenever you reach the chain 2 spaces that you have done for another button, just work in only 1 bump from the back. So here is where I intend my button to be, and I'm going to just fold it and use this hole across the button. It's easy and it's going to be like this here. See? And of course you can put more than 1 button to your work. Of course, because this is a small portion, I cannot fold it, but if we take this bigger one, so I am going to fold it. I here put the button in here after finishing all in here like this, and then take this side and just do this here and fold it like this to have this shape. See? So it's either this or just 1 button to hold your cowl like this. See? And of course you're going to adjust it the way you like. Now in this part I am going to show you how to work the edges. Here is the pattern for the edges. Finishing your cowl like this. Chain 1 and work a single crochet, or this slash means a single crochet or half double crochet in each stitch around. 3 single crochet or half double crochet in each corner. Slip stitch in the first stitch. This is how we're going to work it. You're going to chain 1 and mark this stitch. We're not going to use it, but we're going to just mark it here. This is my first corner here. So what I'm going to do is working around all this edge for a single crochet, because it will give me a better look. But what I like also to do is working with a 1/2 millimeter smaller hook to make the edges. So I am replacing it with 4.5 millimeter and starting doing my edges. So you will find it little harder if you remove these stitches from each stitch that you did, but I'm going to show you how you're going to work it. Now you have to work in both loops of a stitch. Never ever work in only one loop, this loop which gives you bigger hole. Don't work with it. Just work in this stitch. Here you have here a stitch, so insert your hook in it so you end up with one loop, and insert it in the next loop or the other loop of the stitch. You have to have 2 loops for the stitch. I know it's going to be little bit harder for you, but you will manage after a couple of stitches. Now leave this hole here and start working in the next stitch here. So you have 2 loops like this. Now work in this. So it's all the time one little harder and the next one is easier. Just find your stitches and work single crochet. Leave this and work in the next like this. Here, leave this and work in the next. Now I have reached the end of my row and I have worked 1 single crochet all across, and I'm going to make the first corner where it says 3 here, 3 single in each corner. So this is the corner here, so I am going to work 3 single crochet in this corner here like this, and continue doing my single crochet across each stitch. It should be easier because this is the foundation chain that we started with. And just continue doing this, and whenever you reach any corner you're going to work 3 single crochet in each corner. So you're going to work 3 single crochet in 4 corners, 4 times I mean. Now I have reached this corner here, so I'm going to work 3 single crochet here again, and then start doing my second long edge. Now for this tail it's advisable you just attach this tail to this side and just work over it so it will be nice and tight, and just continue doing this and never ever use 1 loop, just work around the 2 loops. Now I have reached the end of my round and I'm going to finish with 3 single crochet in the last corner here. 1, 2 and 3. Just before the stitch, just before the one I did with my stitch marker. So I'm going to leave the stitch marker and find the next stitch after it, the first single crochet I have done, and just slip stitch in it. Just work 1 chain. Of course you're going to just cut your yarn and just make it secure like this. And now you can safely remove your stitch marker. And here is the final look. You have here straight edges, nice and neat, and the corner work is very beautiful here and here. Of course I'm going to cut this whole yarn after that, here and here. This is the hole for the bottle, and that's it. Just whenever you want to finish it, just hold it on the back, fold it in the back, move your work like this and like this, and you have your cowl. Of course you're going to attach the button here. See, very simple and very easy. I have also worked another design for this pattern. I work this design in lengths. So when I finished my cowl, it's going to be like this whole this pattern here, and this part looks like this, and this is when you work it along the root. Now otherwise it's very beautiful and very easy. Now if you need any help, just join my Facebook group, or you can check me on my Instagram account. I will be more than glad to answer all your comments and answer all your questions. If you do have any comments so I could improve the channel and find other ways to help you, just leave a comment of them and I will be more than glad to read and listen to all your comments. I hope you find the video very informative and clear to follow. Thank you for watching, and see you in another video with another tutorial.